Hi, my name is Rich. I use the he, him pronouns. You're watching my YouTube channel where I play tabletop role playing games with friends. This is part of the ongoing anthology series of games set in the universe of Star Wars. I am running the second of two sessions of Before the Rebellion, which is a game released on Vincent Baker's Patreon using Dogs in the Vineyard's core system, but tweaked very heavily for a Star Wars-like experience. So I have done no hacking to this game whatsoever. It's a 12-page game that's still in process. So I have fumbled a little bit, and you guys have been wonderful. Thank you very much. We're going to fumble a little bit more as we bring this two-shot to a close this afternoon/evening based on your time zone. Let's go around the horn real quick just to remind ourselves of our characters and brief introductions. So let's start going from left to right. Keith, introduce yourself. Tell us about your character.
I am playing Pleerg Flash, Weequay, former bureaucrat on the planet of Bothwy, and who did not stop the Empire when he had the chance, and kind of ran off with his tail between his legs to this outer rim planet that we are on, Vuku, and is now finding himself with an opportunity to perhaps help the nibbling of a former colleague who has stolen, I think, some codes or some sort of information that is very damaging to the Empire. And not much of a fighter, but heck of a speaker and a bit of a minor poet as well.
Minor poet? Just minor?
I mean, as far as the Weequay tiers go, yeah.
Oh, really? So there are tiers of poetry for Weequay?
It means certain things if you claim to be a mid-tier, yeah.
Oh,
not ready to make that.
I like that you're just not ready to commit to that, even in a place which has almost no Weequay in it. That's great.
Oh, there's one other Weequay.
Oh, is there? We'll have
recently
to find
put
out.
on the board.
Indeed. Thank you. Sabine.
Hi, my name is Sabine. I use any pronouns, and I'm going to play Chayla Dahl, who is a former, or well, she was a Jedi, right? And then one night she snuck out of the Jedi temple on Coruscant to be with her lover, which was not strictly allowed, I guess. Well, yeah, she was always a bit of a free spirit, like, yeah. And then when she thought she might go back, then she heard, oh, the clones have turned on the Jedi and murdered all of them. And she decided not to go back, but to get away from Coruscant as far as she could. And when she landed on Vuku and she found the most backwater place called Warm Bread or something like that, and opened a bar called the Mind Trick because she's subtle. Haha, she's not. Raised a kid. The kid ran off with her lightsaber. And that's where she is now. Like, yeah, trying to keep stuff together and get the Empire off her back because Empire bad.
Awesome. And then Will.
You're muted.
You're muted, Will.
There we go. Just renaming myself. So yeah, my name is Will, and my character is Payden Fenn, a ex-Imperial. Both pronouns are he, him. I fought in the Clone Wars, and all that killing never led to anything but more killing. I left it all behind. Me and Owie. We came out here to patch people up, but you know, the war just follows us wherever we go.
Nice. In last session, we created characters and chose a situation. Oot Lefay, a nibbling of one of Pleerg's old colleagues, came at the beginning, had come to Pleerg saying that he had these plans for some kind of Imperial superweapon, and he needed to get it to some rebel cell here on Vuku. I've kind of retconned in some more information. The rebel cell is holed up at a place called the Refinery, which was it was a refinery that was created during the original colonization of Vuku before the Imperials like left it. They scuttled the refinery itself, but it's still a thing, and evidently the rebel cell is there. It is a afternoon drive on a speeder away from where you are now. Where you are is a small one-horse town that was originally named something like Wamparatia or something like that, but has come to be called Womprat. And no one really fights too hard to correct whoever calls it Womprat. You can't find it on any map, but if you say, I need to get to Womprat, and you're on Vuku, this is the place that you need to go. Another little detail that we've folded in is that there's a place known as Crester's Hollow. Crester's Hollow, we had talked about there being a large number of smugglers that use Vuku as a bit of a way station and a place to hide various things when they're a little too hot. Crester's Hollow is under the control of the boss of most of the smugglers, another Weequay, who is not as peaceful nor as poetic as Pliergflash. His name is, well, technically his born name is Jack Bunfleetos, but he goes by Crester, and he's the head of the smuggler gangs, notorious here in Womprat because often this Crester's Hollow, they don't actually manufacture anything, so when they need sundries, they come to Womprat and just take what they need. But Crester once came to the mind trick and ended up paying for everything after a brief conversation with Jay Ladon. He of course said that he, it was his largesse that caused that to come to mind. It's this whole mind trick and a mind trick. That's just hogwash. So Utlafe has the plans. He is hidden out in a shed at Pliergflash's place. And just a few hours ago, Womprat was crawling with stormtroopers. In fact, that's still a true statement. As a death trooper and a pair of stormtroopers came into the mind trick, they are hunting for Utlafe. And you guys were able to convince them that you didn't know what was going on, and they left, but you know that they're not going to be gone for long. There have been some discussions of what you wanted to do, and Will, before you showed up, there was a little bit further discussion. So maybe we pick up with the three of you effectively recapping that conversation with Payton Finn. Maybe Payton, you had to step out for a smoke break or something along those lines. So if you don't mind, we'll say that, is this at the mind trick, you think? Or were you guys headed to Utlafet to check and make sure that he's still hidden away?
I mean, he wouldn't move, right? He wouldn't move out. The droid still, is Aoi still with him?
I mean, Aui's still with him, probably.
So,
listen, you can trust Aoi. He's good droid.
I'm trusting Aoi. That droid was probably one of the people I trust most in this town.
Well, it's not like the Aoi can chase after him because it's like
well, yeah, but it's not like he can run, really.
It's true, yeah. Oot is at least as broken as Aoi is.
Yeah, we have some ideas what we could do to distract the Empire. And one of the ideas that came up was, you said, I mean, you know your way around this place, right, Payne? You are kind of an ex-ranger or something, I imagine.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, see, these guys are looking for someone. And maybe you could get them to go with you for looking for some hidey holes, and if they met the smugglers and if the smugglers reacted badly to them, and if they then clashed with the smugglers, I mean, that would just be awful for somebody, but not really for us, right?
So what you're saying is you want me to lead these stormtroopers out into crossfire with some smugglers?
Yeah, that might be a plan. What's the part 1 of the plan? And part 2 of the plan to distract these guys was that we would be so happy that these guys are here now because we've got the smuggler problem. We are celebrating Empire Day, and yeah, I mean, free drinks for everybody who's an Imperial, I guess. I don't know who pays for that, but probably me. Well, okay, maybe Clear Cat, maybe you could maybe chip in a bit because we're doing this for your friend, I guess. So we will figure that out anyway. If we get rid of the smugglers, that might be worth it anyway.
Anything that takes these Stormies away from our town is a good thing.
Yeah, but we will. I like the idea of having an Empire Day celebration, which will further distract the people. They won't all go because they have the town in their sights. And I don't know, man. I think some of them might be professionals.
I mean, if they're in the armor, they're professionals, yeah.
Yeah, anyway, but we can maybe distract them with some Empire Day celebrations because we're a loyal town. And all of this should give Oot the opportunity to get on my speeder bike. My speeder bike? Why am I doing this again? Remind me, someone.
Because you're you?
Ah, damn. Okay. So yeah, we get him on he reminds me of my kid anyway. So
yeah, well, I'm happy to take out the Stormies. I noticed that Player again exposing himself to any more danger than needed.
That is my general advisable course.
Yeah.
Kind of gesture to whatever sidearm you've got on. I've only armed myself from here up.
From the mind up. Well.
So we got to get some of the townsfolk to help us with the Empire Day thing because they won't believe that we are suddenly true and loyal Empire fans unless we give them a reason. But if we're sicking them on the smugglers, that's a good reason.
Yep. Well, if only someone could do some sort of mind trick upon them. But
I don't think
hear
we need
that's gone the way
I think Clear nods at that, like thinking like, yep, mine, that's me. Not even realizing that it's not that reference.
Chela says, well, I think Clear has this. He's pretty good at talking people into stuff without
I mean,
further
the thing is, if they find out the dude's here, it ain't just going to be us who catches the fallout, you know? It's going to be the whole town.
I know. That's why we need to get all of them involved in the Empire Day celebration. So they won't see you. Because some of these guys, I don't know, they might think that, buttering up to the Empire might be a good idea. I mean, most of them probably won't, but, you know.
Well, they wouldn't be wrong.
Yeah, but we're not. We're not doing that, right, Peyton?
I ain't saying it's going to be right. I'm just saying it wouldn't be wrong. But I think that's a good idea, Taylor.
It wasn't just me that came up with it. Clear, and we were brainstorming.
Listen, Plague doesn't need you to boost his ego. He's got that all by himself.
Well, let's get started then.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk to the Wampers. Wamperations? Yeah. I think Wampers.
Wampers sounds good,
yeah.
Yeah, I will be...
You're muted, Rich.
So, like, I think that Payton's, like, from what we described, is Payton's role is more kind of like leading some of the Stormies away from town. And, you know, I'm happy to be whatever part of Empire Day is necessary kind of thing. Like, hey, bring yourself round to Doc Fenn's for some Empire Day checkup kind of thing, you know, like on the house. You'll be as strong as the Death Star by the end of the day if you...
Wait, we were before the Death Star, right? Or no, we're between. I think we were after New Hope, right?
We're definitely after New Hope. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. So these plans that Oot has for a super weapon.
Let me check your thermal port.
Cool. So Then do we want to kind of pick up with a scene with some of the townsfolk who are currently at the mine trick, and Jayla and Pleerg, you guys are going to address them while Payton is heading off to the ship that had the Imperial ship that brought all of these troopers aboard. It is not a Star Destroyer. Right? It is like a medium class freighter, Imperial freighter. Large enough to carry an APC, and it has a couple TIE fighters to it, but yeah. So yeah, I like the conversation with the townsfolk, but I want to see Payton as you're heading to this Imperial medium class freighter, frigate. I don't know what the difference between those two are. I'm sure that there's a very, very specific difference between the two of them. I don't know it. So big ship, big enough to where an APC could like load on and off of it. You see that they have a couple of speeder bikes that are kind of racked up and have not been brought out yet. And they've got I'm imagining like this is here similar to like not Tatooine, a little more like less desert than that, more like, if I remember correctly, we were saying like scrub brush.
Area, I
Yeah,
think?
It's like prairie.
I mean, I think that
prairie.
like if you think of Tatooine with some greenery, I think that pretty much sums it up.
That fairs.
Like
Yeah, I remember prairie being one of the things that we'd talked about. So
yeah,
Tatooine with some greenery is terrible and delightful at the same time.
yeah. Alien Wyoming is exactly how I'm imagining
That's
it.
that's fantastic. So here in the middle of Wyoming, near a butte, is this thing, and you come walking up, and you see that they've
Well,
got.
I think
Oh.
I drive my speeder up there.
Oh, okay, that's
no,
right.
I take my old Ractal mount. Sorry, I forgot I changed that for a. I ride my old Ractal mount out there, and I'm just like on my mount, like at a distance, and I wait for like the sentry to sort of like clock me, and I'm like, and I give a sharp salute, Old Republic
Ooh.
style, like reporting for duty kind of thing.
Is this a mock thing, or are you trying to do it out of respect?
I think that like it's meant to be a signifier, but it's so rusty and so half-hearted that it just comes across as kind of like mock kind of thing. It's just a tired old man like going through the motions of an old military lifestyle.
So the stormtrooper is gonna wave you in, and he ends up walking you out of the warm, sunny exterior up into the perfectly temperature controlled, cool bay of this area. And he says yeah, just follow me. I'll take you to see Captain Carius.
Much obliged, trooper.
And so he marches smartly, blaster rifle in hand, and soon a door opens up, and you see a man you have not seen in a number of years. Gable Carius, who is in the NPCs and Places tab. When you last saw him, he was not a cyborg. He had both of his arms. He had all of his face.
Oh dear.
You were there. Did you save his life, or did you think he was dead?
I saved his life. I dragged him off the I dragged him in that hangar where I exploded, and he was injured. Like I pulled him out.
He looks up, and you hear the zhuzh of his eye, from his cybernetic eye focusing to look at you. And then you hear this metallic rasp that you recognize as his chuckle. Well, well, well. Hayden Fenn. I thought you were dead.
Mr. Carius, I knew you were alive.
In no small part thanks to you, though.
Mm-hmm.
A great deal has changed.
Yeah. Has it, though?
He stands up, moves around. You may go, trooper. Come in, Finn.
Thank you kindly, sir. Well, I'm surprised to see you here, Mr. Carius. I didn't think you'd make it.
Well, after the fall of the Republic, many of our people had to make hard choices.
And you chose to carry on serving, huh?
You chose to muster out and end up in a place like this?
I went somewhere there ain't no killing anymore.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you've held to your oath, Hayden Finn. You can help to save a great deal of killing if you can give me some information I need.
Yeah, you're looking for this, that Bothan kid, right?
I am.
Well, it's rough terrain out there. Tectonic displacement, all kinds of things. You're gonna need a local guide. Now, me and Bessie, and he shook his head back at his mount. We can take you out there.
Can you now?
If you don't want me, just say. But I thought, well, I know how you should treat the occupying forces.
Indeed you do. That's a wise choice you've made, Peyton Finn. You haven't changed over all these years.
You know, small sort of like tense jaw clench kind of palms like reaching towards the blaster and then just relaxing. Like, yeah, well, some of us change on the inside, Gale.
We'll let you have the last word there because that's a pretty good capper for that. He strides past you and starts ordering the troopers, a couple of the speeder bike troopers, which I'm just going with the whole Mandalorian vibe of speeder bike troopers. They were just sitting back with their helmets off on a table, drinking like coffee or something, kind of looking like lazy and rangy. And they snap to when Carius comes out, and they go over and start pulling their speeder bikes off of the racks. And we'll say that there'll be those two, and then you don't have a speeder, so you have your crazy lizard thing. We'll say that they're in a speeder, so it's two speeder bike troopers and Carius. If you want him to commit more forces, you're gonna need to we'll probably need to go to a conflict. He thinks, I'm just gonna check this out.
Let's go to a conflict, because I feel like that's the plan, right? Like, let's try and get as much of the Stormies across as we can.
Beautiful.
Please, can I beg the mercy of people who understand the rules to help me run this conflict?
Of course, you may beg their help. I don't know if they'll give it.
Do we have the
Yeah.
link to the play materials here somewhere?
Yes, I
Or
can give you that link in just a second. Let me.
There's rule references. Is that all we need?
I don't know if any of this is sufficient, but we are going to find our way.
Yeah.
We've got our own Keith here, so I'm confident that we'll roll dice and we'll all agree to some kind of outcome, not outfit. Okay, so I've got to drop a couple labels in first. We're going to put our Fallout dice over here. We're going to put our used dice over here. And so what we're doing within our rules reference is we start off, and right now you come around and just so we agree on the stakes, you want to convince our NPC, Captain Carius at this point. You want to convince Captain Carius to... There's a lot more trouble out here. Like, what is the reasoning you give for him to bring more troopers? Like, you should bring the whole lot.
There are bandits and raiders and outlaws. We're here outside of the Empire's grace, and this was even in the days of the Republic, this was wild. This was Badlands, and it's only got worse. So
that sounds truthful. So I think we're just talking.
Okay.
Does that seem fair, Keith? Just check me on that. Yep. Okay.
My mute button moved. Yeah. I mean, I think you're saying that there are smugglers and bandits. There are.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to lead you right to them, and hopefully they'll shoot you.
Yeah, my reason for I am telling the truth. It's a truth from a certain point of view.
Well, that's very Star Warsian.
Of course.
So we're going to roll patience plus perspective at the outset. And if there are any, you're speaking the plain truth, so you could even bring in your harmony. Sorry. Looking at the wrong character. My bad. Don't think any of your harmony applies. If you've got any reputation or traits or belongings, I don't think any of the belongings really.
I think that my name might be a thing because he knows me.
You're definitely,
I don't think those get rolled yet.
Okay.
Just the initial area of conflict and your free heart dice. Let's see what those are. Imperial authorities and military definitely would work. So that's a D4 in addition to patience and perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Is that talking? Okay.
So 7d6 and 1d4. Is that correct?
Yeah. And I'm going to be rolling for an officer. Just talking is 4d6. All right. So I'll do it in red because that's all angry. I feel like I may have to do a follow conflict at this point because I'm dumb, but one of these days I'll be less dumb. Wow, that's a lot of sixes. Okay, so Payden, you've got your dice here. I've got my dice. Who goes first? Let's see.
I don't know that it says. I felt like it was the PC, but
Feels put forward, seeing your opponent's raise. Okay, turn taking. Start with the first raise, alternate turns. You should need free heart dice because your opponent in the stakes. Free heart dice. Initial roll. Both sides. Player, take your dice. GM, privately choose a conflict profile for the NPCs. Both sides roll all your assembled dice. Pick out the highest 2 to 4. And you can put the rest in order if you choose. Once you rolled your dice, let them stand. All dice are public. Cover your opponent's dice. Begin to strategize against them now. I think we're just going to say that the player goes first.
Okay. And what does that mean? I'm sorry.
So that's okay. You pick 2 of your dice and you're going to push them forward. So imagine that you're like laying down a couple cards in a poker hand. That's what this is supposed to kind of sort of emulate in a way.
And you have to do something that is getting you close to what you want. getting him to commit the forces, and that he can ignore.
Okay. I am going to use those 5s that I've just put down there, and that is Payden saying that, this is just like Jabi. This is just like Naboo when the rogue robots. This is Badlands territory. We need like mobile but forceful. Like any lone. If you travel on your own, you get picked off here.
Nice. I like that. That is a pretty cool. So you're pushing forward the 2 5s and saving these 6s to just clean me out.
Yeah, I noticed that I rolled far higher than you on everything.
Yes, so much better. Damn. Yeah, I'm gonna have to escalate real fast. So I'm gonna go ahead and just meet that with the knowledge that I'm gonna have to quickly escalate. And so I'm able to meet that in 2 dice, so I effectively block it. So we'll just move those over to used dice, and now I get to lead. Is that right, Keith? So
What does it look like with the blocking?
he says, to use you. Oh, Payden, so much has changed since you actually strapped on a gun. I'm sure that my troopers can handle any problems that we see out here in the scrub.
Yeah, and then you get to put forward 2 dice that Peyton would have to see, but you may want to roll in some of your other stuff first.
Yep. And this is where I'm going to bring in something the officer is much better at than just talking, which is authoritarian cruelty. This is what he says that you can't ignore after I roll my dice, and I'll probably not roll great. Here we go. Oh, that's looking a little bit better.
Jesus, Rich.
Oh my goodness. I'm going to save that to turn a blow later. Cool. So here, yeah, I'll just push up these 2 6s. So I know you can block it, but that's one of the interesting things about there's a little bit of strategy. So he says, you understand, we're well aware that this tiny 1-horse town of yours is rife with troublemakers.
Would this be a chance for me to escalate? Or...
So I've pushed forward 2 6s. You're going to need to answer it. He's effectively, he's saying, if I bring out all my guys, we're going to roll through whatever, poodoo smuggler routine, and then we're just going to circle back to clear out anything in Womprat.
Okay. I was just wondering if is a chance for me to bring more dice into my pool at this point.
Not yet. First, you have to see the 12.
Then I will see the 12.
Nice.
Cool. So I will see with 2 6s.
So what does that block sound like?
It just sounds like Payden honestly saying that ain't nobody here trying to get involved in anything bigger. Nothing for the Empire to worry itself about.
That's real good. I like this, like a low boil. So you've seen his, and now it's your turn. You can bring in more dice. You can escalate to, more deceit or action and striving if you wanted to make this into an action thing.
Well, my major thing is that it feels as though I need more dice.
Yes.
Since you've got 6, so I need to get more.
A lot of dice.
Yes. So I would like to bring in my... Can I bring in my traits and stuff at this point?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Yeah. I would like to bring in my... I'm an ex-ranger, 1d6.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to bring in my name, 1d4, because he knows my name. He knows who I am, kind of thing. And I would also like to bring in my face, my breath, my pulse. Don't give me away, because this is ultimately a con, at the end of the day. My interest is not so much in anything other than just leading the bulk of his troops away.
Now, if you want to, by leaning on that, my faith, my breath, my pulse don't give me away, and tilt this conflict from just talking to leaning harder into deceit. You've already rolled patience, but that would open up if you're like, I'm openly trying to deceive him now. You can roll will, which is not yourself, although I would be amused by watching you have to roll. You may roll the 3d6 of your will in with the d8, the d6, and the d4. Does that make sense?
That does make sense. Is that, as I understand it, like, you know, the optimal roll to make as well? You know, like,
It seems pretty good. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think you might want to look at your guerrilla fighter instead of the ex-ranger, because it gives you a d10 instead of a d6.
Yeah, I just feel as though guerrilla fighter is more as in like opposing, like I'm the one fighting it rather than.
Yeah, but you could say, hey, I was this guy and I know how this works. I actually know how this works. And it doesn't work if you don't bring enough people. And that would be more guerrilla fighter than ex-ranger, I guess, because
I will say that personally, that is for me the I metagame. You know what I mean? Like I'm not using the trait that feels more fitting to me rather than using the trait that's optimal.
Sure.
When I asked about whether it's optimal, it's more a case of, am I accidentally opening myself up to a consequence that I haven't quite understood in this game? You know, like if I
the only consequence you're opening yourself up to is if you continue to the point where you start to get fallout.
Okay.
But just rolling more dice, you can still back out of the conflict, and it just stands that you lose the stakes and he doesn't bring more effectively. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Can I bring my old Ractal mount into it as well?
Sure.
Anything you can justify with what you're about to do, you can bring it. But that is the only thing, is if you're using the die, you have to somehow tie it into what's about to happen.
Yeah, so it's a case of I'm an ex-ranger. This is rough terrain, bandit territory. I've got a mount that's perfectly suited for it. Your speeder bikes, without my guidance, will just blitz through straight into a ravine, kill themselves, blind corners, etc. And you need, you know, a spotter, a point man.
Sounds good.
I will be your point man as an ex-ranger, and you know my word. We fought together in the Clone Wars. Okay, so.
All right, you may roll all those dice in.
There we go. Is that right?
Let's see. You had 3d6 from your will,
a
d8, a d6, and a d4. Let's see the d8, the d4. You didn't clear out the dice that you'd used.
No, I just typed into the top, but I don't see my previous sixes, you know, because I had more dice on the table.
Oh, well, you used a couple of the sixes earlier. And they go over here to use dice. If you're looking at...
Yes, I understand,
There were more dice on the table before.
Because I had 2 less dice than you, whereas right now I have... that's weird.
So you use patience, perspective, and will. So that's 10d6 should be out there in yellow.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you're short 3d6.
Okay.
Just go ahead and roll 3d6.
So they disappeared somewhere.
Yeah. The vagaries of Roll for Your Party.
Yes.
They've not rolled as high as they were before either.
Got a 6. I mean,
yeah. That's all good.
All right. Now you need to put forth. You can put forth any 2 dice. So you can put forth this d8 here if you wanted, but it's only a 2, so maybe you don't. Anyway.
I put forward a 6 and a 4.
Okay. Just a 6 and a 4.
You might not want to, because he can put that 10 and turn it back on you then.
Yeah.
What if I do a 12?
Then he would have to use 2 dice, which is much better.
There we go.
May have to use more than 2 dice, actually.
I mean,
I may take some fallout because I'm an NPC.
Can I use more than 2 dice?
No. You put forward 2 dice.
Okay.
When you're the one acting, it's always 2. When you're reacting, you have to meet the total of that person in however many dice it takes.
Okay.
Damn. Do I burn this 10 just to answer this?
Waste your 10.
No. I've got to eat a little bit of fallout. All right, so there we go. Oh, wait. No, if I'm going to eat fallout, I'm going to do it a bunch of dice. So here we go. So I'm going to go. Rich, come on. All right, here's what I'll do. Boom, boom, boom. So 5, 10, 13 to meet your 16, your 12, sorry. I can do math. I swear. And I'll move these down here. Now he's going to take some fallout just by being so zealotous. You use up these 2d6. Remembering that advancement is based off of taking fallout. So getting fallout is not always a bad thing. And so, yeah, you see here a gorilla, all this other stuff is something you can't quite deny. He blocks it by saying, fair. I'm sure, Payton, you know this place better than I. Are you saying that if things came to violence, you would stand by my side? In fact, let's just assume that's what you're offering, Payton Finn. When these smugglers are more trouble than my forces can handle, I know I can count on your blaster, can't I?
I mean, and I don't get to get my cut down myself, but I don't dice, do I, at this point?
Got to use the ones that are there when you're seeing what he put.
Yeah. Well, I will see that then. 7, 10. You're at 14. So yeah, that's 14 there. Do I need to beat it? Or
nope, you just need to see it. And you take the blow, which means that you're going to get some fallout. The good news is that you're rolling really small fallout dice. The long-lasting effects of this should be minor, and the chances are great for you getting positive fallout and learning from this. So let's see, you did this as 3, and then 5, 8, 12, and you put in that 2. Okay, you got some fallout. And then I'm gonna add that this is talking fallout just so I can remember.
Just not to be nitpicky, but why don't you use the 2 for the on the D4 4 for fallout, because that would be more useful.
Don't have to match the number.
You have to match the number, but it matters if you take a D4 of fallout or if you take a D6 of fallout.
Actually, the value, the die type that you're putting forth is less important because the fallout is actually going to be, hold on.
But the chance of rolling a 1 on a D4.
It'll be D4s regardless.
They're going to turn into D4s.
Oh, right. I remember.
That's what we're going to call it talking. So you're going to be rolling 5d4 fallout and then looking at the 2 highest. And if you get any ones, it's a good thing. So it's confusing, but basically the dice become other dice during fallout.
Okay.
So now we're to the point where you reacted, you took some fallout. Keith, correct me if I'm wrong, but if he pushed for these 2 2s and I can't answer it, I'm out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, that's what I'd be doing, I guess.
Okay. So all you have to do is put forward these last 2 dice with something that I have to answer to, and then I'm probably going to give on the conflict.
I mean, if you're not going to give them the conflict, then I would say I could arm myself, but I don't, because Peyton's line is that, like, you can count on everything but my blaster. I ain't killing for the Empire no more.
We'll see about that, Finn. All right, troop, let's mount up. And he says it with this little hint of bravado that the stormtroopers there respond to with some hoo-ahs, and they quickly tromp out, and the APC is brought out. And yeah, you have won the... Oh, well, I should probably share screen so we can do Fallout. But you've effectively won this conflict. Now we do Fallout. So
Okay.
I'm gonna clear dice. We know that you have 5 dice that were Fallout. He's got Fallout as well. I'll real quickly roll his Fallout. It doesn't exactly matter, but I am curious about it. So we roll 4D and we add the 2 and the 3. Right, you push forward the highest. You have to take the highest, and he would be taking short-term Fallout, a follow conflict, no follow conflict, leave the scene, spend time alone, which means that he's reflecting on all of the accusations, like, I'm not going to kill for the Empire anymore. And maybe it's a thing where he, like, while you guys are traveling, he like pulls up a little hollow and he's looking at some picture of someone he has outside of the Empire that he's maybe left behind. There's a few moments of reflection for him. That's his Fallout.
Maybe just like looking in the mirror and seeing that cyborg face, like the sort of like the, hasn't he killed himself really and just he's more machine than man now?
That's so good. Okay, yeah, we'll do that. That one sounds better. Sweet. So I'm gonna clear, and now you roll 5d4, and we'll look for ones, and then we're also gonna take the highest 2 and see what happens. That is perfect. Wow. Yeah, that is an amazing. So any ones is experience Fallout.
Mm-hmm.
And the experience Fallout are these. Does he get 3, Keith? Or if you get any ones, you choose one of these. I think if you get any ones, you choose one.
Yeah.
Okay, so you get experience Fallout. You can add 1 to any of your stats, create a new trait at a d6. Basically, you can read. So you could do any of these. And then we're going to add 3 and 4, which I think is also short-term Fallout. Yep, short-term Fallout. Don't think you're doing a Fallout conflict, so you'll need to leave the scene, spending time alone.
Okay.
And we can always say that that's like narration of you traveling quietly in reflection, or however. What do we see as you're effectively leaving the scene of corroborating with Carius and traveling towards the smugglers' hideout at Crester's Hollow?
I think you see me being like a trailblazer, like taking my my mount through different ravines and crannies and like through treacherous terrain that the speeder bikes couldn't manage without a guide, and
Nice.
like waving the stormtroopers down after I've like pioneered a path for them to come through towards the thing. So there's a lot of like, I'm separate from this group that's following me, like as the shots go, it's always like me like looking more and more stressed as like this big group of soldiers follows me around.
Nice. I like it. So then at one point you're riding off and we see the sun, and the sun is our transition point to a reflection of some kind of light in a shot glass, and a member of the clientele here at the mine trick grabs it, throws it back, and there's a bunch of murmuring because you guys have called a number of the townsfolk together to try to explain to them your Empire Day. Garza Karis, the Gran are those 3-eyed cow guys, for like they kind of look like 3-eyed cow anthropomorphic folks. We've got Saldal Krana, the Athorian prospector. Your backup bartender, Barua, is behind the bar. Shoan Harand, who was a colonist as a child, who Chayla, is a clone, but he's never told anyone here that he's a clone. He's here with his droid P2CD, and there are a number of other extras, effectively, who are townsfolk that we will define if we need. What do?
Well, it seems like we wouldn't have much mass communication here, so it's going to be word of mouth, which probably also hopefully makes it harder to track. Let's see. How do we want to tell these folks?
I think we'll need to announce that these Empire goons are here looking for whatever, we don't know, but that this is an opportunity for the town, right? Because we've got trouble with the smugglers, the Empire folks are here anyway. So we should maybe throw them a party, because otherwise they might think we're anti-empire, because lots of towns like this
Oh,
are.
actually, I like that. So actually, do you? I guess this is a little metagamey, but do you think this is a conflict or simple uncertainty? Because I don't know what level of granularity I want to start with.
That's a fair question. To me, it feels like simple uncertainty, right? It's less exciting convincing this town to do an Empire Day, and more exciting seeing you try to pull it off. If that
Yeah,
makes
I can't
sense.
imagine that they would necessarily be fighting back like the commander was there. They don't have as much at stake. So I think it's kind of the idea of, as you've all noticed, there have been some strangers here in town in very unfashionable armor. Folks that we were glad to see the hind ends of when they hiked it back to the inner planets. Folks that we do well to be on the better side of, no matter how repulsive we find them. What we don't want is them to know the skimming off on the import taxes that we've done, or the changing of ID numbers done without authorization, and just kind of making eye contact with everyone in the room as he goes around and mentions the little peccadillos that everyone in town has done. That they're not big things, but if the Empire starts digging in our soil, they're going to turn up a lot of things. So let's make sure that there is a layer of grade A fertilizer on top of anything they might be digging. And let's really smear this town with pro-Empire shit so they don't catch the whiff of anything we don't want them to.
I think as you carry that all the way through, Saldal Krana says, "You're very committed to this metaphor."
I'm working on a poem, Saldo.
I'd like to hear it. Cool. So then we will have, I'll clear our dice. We will call this a simple uncertainty. I think it's got a different term, but it's similar to that.
No, you got it.
What? I got a word right? This is wrong. Hold on. Let's just quit right now. I'm going to quit while I'm ahead. Simple uncertainty. By default, I'm rolling 2d6. I'll stick them out there now.
All right, and I'm rolling the helping dice for some sort of quality.
Yeah.
Which perspective, maybe? I don't know. Out of patience, perspective, skill, and will. This is the problem with them not actually being defined.
Yeah.
Really the only time we run into it.
Yeah, one of the only times so far. Patience is used in stealth, deceit, and talking. Perspective is used in action, striving, and surviving duress. So it feels like patience is more.
Okay. I didn't write down what my helping dice were. So what are the helping dice for a...
Hold on, and I will look that up in the PDF.
It is 1d8. Ugh.
You got to beat a 5. Ooh, not looking good.
Yikes! I only roll one die. I don't like simple uncertainty.
Can I help
Hold
here?
on.
Can I
Yes.
jump in and help here?
Yeah, because there's helping.
I mean,
There's literally a thing called helping dice. So sure.
So I will do that. I will give out I will just tell the people. So if we are, I'm not going to use the metaphor, guys, but if we are buttering up these Empire folks, I mean, we need to throw a party and to make that convincing. I'm guessing it's on the house. A lot of things will be on the house.
And I think not agreeing that you're not going to follow the metaphor gets a Thorian chuckle from Saldao. Cool. So I think you're also using perspective, which is a 4d6, is also a d8 of helping. So let's roll your 2d8s. Scary.
Oh, I lost the roll for your party. There we go.
Oh, I can relink you if you need me to.
Should I roll both or just one?
Oh, you roll one, I roll one, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Choose different colors so we can know who's what.
Okay.
I forget what color I was using before. I'll do green.
Yeah, it was green.
All
I'll use
right.
orange.
Oh,
I've got
Weak
4.
by.
Wow.
Oh man, thank goodness for that help, because neither of you would have triumphed. But working together, I think you're successful. Garza Karis kind of growls and chews his cud and says, This is not good. Not good at all, this many bucketheads, but sure, you think you can smear poodoo around and
thank
keep
you for
them
using
away.
a metaphor.
Oh, you work so hard.
I think that's a tie, isn't it? Because you add your dice as well.
It's a tie.
Oh, it's a 6 and a 6. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it says a tie should try to count as a tie, which I think is lovely in this case.
Oh, what does a tie do?
I picture that they agree to it, but it's super half-assed. Like yeah, Empire kind of thing where it's like,
Yeah, I think Garza is not even going to participate. His answer is, "Oh yeah, I'll help you. I'll help you by hiding out. If they see me, it won't go well for anyone."
Can I conflict that? Because I might try to mind trick him into this here.
Oh, well, if you want to follow a conflict with just Garza to try to mind trick him, that sounds amazing, and that is definitely a separate thing. The rest of them are all like, "Yeah, we'll do the thing," and they'll go about trying to set that up. But yeah, if you're going to follow after Garza, maybe you catch him in the street, and he turns around and looks at you with his 3 eyes. Chayla. Spits a little bit of his cud that he's chewing all the time.
I think you really want to help us do that. That makes the appropriate thing. Gesture.
Ooh, neat.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be talking because we've tried talking right now, right? So
you're just gonna go straight to, I'm gonna use harmony on him. Is that what we're after here? Okay,
pretty much. Yeah, I mean, that's what I've got this for, right?
I mean, that is what you got it for.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And
so
if it doesn't work well, then I will have to give him free drinks for the rest of his life, I guess. But we'll see about that.
If you led with that, maybe get more dice. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah, but that's not Shayla. That's not. What do I roll with? I totally don't.
So we're going to go into Conflict Town.
Yeah. Yeah, but
population 2.
So you're starting with the mind trick.
Yeah.
I'm starting with the mind trick. Yeah.
I think that is going to be
deceit.
Yeah, I think it's deceit. It's not just talking.
No, it's definitely not talking.
It's bending somebody's will. So
yeah,
we'll call it stealth and deceit. Yeah.
I could also see it as striving, since like you aren't actually lying, you're using mystic powers.
No, I think striving is mystic powers. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah. Good idea. So perspective plus skill.
Yeah, that's skill plus will. That is 66.
66, and then you're acting with harmony, right?
And I'm acting with harmony. Yeah, definitely I am.
What are you doing? Which of these do you think it is?
Well, I'm not speaking the plain truth.
Maybe you're not acting with harmony.
But I act without hurry. No, I don't. I'm moving faster than the eye can follow. Probably not. It's just the mind trick thing I'm using.
My actions are aligned with justice in the universe.
No.
No.
Why did you even take that one?
No, convincing this guy to celebrate the Empire is not acting in harmony with justice in the universe.
Love this character. Okay, cool. You're definitely bringing in your traits of Jedi and mind trick without a doubt.
Yeah. Can I roll these at the first?
Yeah, lead off.
You're not supposed to.
You're not? You're supposed to just do the
it's only the qualities and any
okay. Well, let's just do it.
Heart dice.
Yeah, and then I can escalate
up to you can do unspent heart dice if you want to bring in any of those. You need to play it well.
Unspent free heart dice would be maybe
remember they go away.
Maybe he's a fellow exile. But this is the second
of 2 games.
Maybe he's a fellow exile. Like
believable.
Yeah, sounds good.
Then I'll use that one.
Okay, so you're going to be rolling 66
60.
plus 1d8.
Yeah, that sounds good. Probably won't be.
And yeah, I get 46 and 1d8, so you've got
Okay.
more dice than me.
Oh, doesn't mean a thing. Okay. D8 didn't do a thing, but well, the rest was pretty good.
All right, let's do our little bit of Fallout and use dice, and we'll make this happen.
Okay.
Why
Yeah.
there's some pretty good dice to lead with. All right, go ahead and lead off. What is it that you say? Trying to.
Yeah,
What's the
basically,
thing that he has to answer?
I will step up to him and I make the gesture and I say, I think you want to help us with this thing.
Cool. And the stakes are he helps or he bails, right?
Mhm.
Those are the
Yeah.
stakes.
Yeah.
Good. All right. You going to put forth the 6 and the 5?
Yes, I am.
Burn him out. All right, here we go. He says, listen, Jayla, I'm wanted on 9 systems. You think these imps coming in aren't going to sniff out who I am?
Makes a good point, actually.
So he's going to lead forward with a 6. Now, at any point you can give, right? And you don't take any fallout. He doesn't take any fallout at this point because you give and you like, oh yeah, fine, go hide, whatever. But you can probably beat him right here.
I will probably. I think I'll say to him, and I'll use the force again because I really need this guy to be on it. And I say, you don't have to lead the parade, but you will help us with this. Or I have to block what he's saying, right?
Yeah, you got to block, but I think your comeback is perfectly that.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, you can block with
Yeah,
like your 5 and 3, and then you can.
I block with the 5. He's putting up 6, right?
Oh, okay, that was
blocking with the 6. So
yeah, you can block him with a 6 if you wanted to. This is a little bit of metagaming. We're in action and striving, which is the fallout of words, right? Because the D4s, you could put forth more than just these 2 dice to meet the 6 if you wanted to.
to try to get positive fallout.
To try to get positive fallout.
Sure, I will.
It's a little gamey, but
yeah, I'll do that. I'll put the 3,
cool.
just so I can get some fallout because
it's fun. It's fun
because it's fun, and because one of my dice just vanished. It's there.
Okay. All right. So you block, and or actually you take a little bit of fallout. So what is it that we see? Because you're going to take some fallout. So you took the blow a little bit rather than just blocking it. So
yeah.
Before you come back with the force, what is it that we see as you take the blow just a little bit from him threatening that, hey, I could get us all in trouble if they know who I am?
I'm probably, you can't see me flinch because I'm pulling him into the line of fire here a bit. And I don't much like it, but still I'm still saying, as I've said, what am I telling him? I'm telling him
this is going to win the conflict. So this is just like the final word. What do you?
Yeah, my final word is now I think you will go and help Barua with decorations.
And he can't hold your eyes. And then he turns and he trudges back. He doesn't even mutter to himself, but yeah, it bothers him. He's scared. So you had 3 fallout dice. They were just talking.
Yeah.
So go ahead and roll 3d4 and let's see what your fallout is.
I cannot roll on the Zoom. I have to roll for a party.
Oh, no. And that's an 8. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you get one long-term fallout.
Cool.
You can look through those.
What's that mean?
What that means is that the fallout of this conflict is kind of,
Mhm.
I don't know, forcing someone to your will, a little dark sidey. You get some fallout, and so rather than getting experience, which allows you to like add to a stat, you could create a new trait at a D4,
Mhm.
which means you can bring it in, but it's also going to cause trouble.
Mhm.
You could subtract the D6 from an existing trait, change a D6 trait to a D4, erase one of your belongings, lose one harmony. Ooh,
No, I
subtract. When it says
don't.
one from a stat, that means like one die from a stat, right? A quality? Isn't that what that means?
What is a stat? Like he doesn't even use that
I don't know,
Yeah.
man. I
term.
don't know.
But I
I
would.
feel like it's
I have
taken die
taken
from
that
a
to
quality.
mean adding one dice to your qualities.
Yeah.
Because they're all
Add
the
one
same dice, aren't they?
die
Right?
to a stat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's-
makes sense.
Yeah, stats
But
only in the
I-
document twice in those 2 fallouts. So I think that was an editing thing.
Yeah. It's okay.
I think I have to. Let me see. I think I'll have to. I want to have a new trade. I think.
Fun.
Yeah, like I feel responsible for the bumpers.
Oh yeah, that's a troublesome D4 for sure.
I only just realized this after living here for 20 years. I've just realized that, yeah, maybe I feel a little responsible for them. I mean, I've rarely felt responsible for much.
Is your son who ran off on you? Yeah.
I felt responsible for him. I mean, I raised him,
True.
right? And I told him, I even showed him how to use the lightsaber. And I showed him how to be a Jedi. Maybe a little like what I remembered.
This is good. This is good. Okay. Well, we're at our halfway point, friends. Let's take a healthy 10-minute break. And if anybody comes back early, we'll chitty chat and we'll see you in 10. So see you at 20 till.
Cool.
Bye.
Sounds good.
I'm looking forward to Aegon tomorrow, Sabine.
Yeah, I'm very excited about that too.
So did I read correctly in that you're taking? So I'm not quite clear. Is like only one player allowed to take one of those domains?
No, but Alan said if we did choose the same thing, then we would overlap too much or something like that. So
Okay, so
I thought I wanted maybe either the blood and whatever thing or the resolve and will thing.
yeah, because I could see Aemon as a lot of things, whereas I feel like, uh, Blackwing is just blood and valor.
Yeah,
Like there's no other taking one.
yeah, that's true. That's true. And I think resolve and will works perfectly because Aemon is not really a warrior; he's more of a hunter.
Hmm.
So that's fine. I don't have to do magic. That was the main thing that I had with it because magic. No.
Yeah, although I'm imagining that I think my expectation is that we're going to be entering like the other world, right?
Yeah.
So like our characters will take on more mythic qualities. So I won't just hit things. I will be like magically hitting things as opposed to
Which you've been doing all the before, right? With your silver hand thingy. So
as of that last go at things. Yeah, I only acquired my silver hand obsession before, so
yeah, it's true. The move for that. Yeah, I remember. And well, we stopped chatting about these two guys because Rich is back.
Sorry for being a few minutes late. I apologize.
no worries. I just wanted to say before we moved on, I very much appreciate the t-shirt, Rich. Is that Darth Vader's helmet that we can see there? Yes, of course it is.
Oh, nice.
That is the
Oh,
old
wow.
that's
Star
Luke.
Wars Marvel comic, isn't it?
It
Wow.
is. I picked this up. I think it's just like a regular screen print because I've never seen it anywhere else. But I picked it up on eBay when I was just trolling for inexpensive Star Wars shirts, and I was like, "Holy crap, that's a cool shirt!" I'm glad you guys liked it. Thank you. Good stuff. All right, let's jump in. What do we think is the next most interesting scene? Is it arrival at Smuggler Base and at Crester's Hollow? It seems like that's the most logical next scene. Although I also would love to have a scene, a scene with Lefay, right? Because it's the person you guys are doing all this trouble for. So that could be interesting as well.
How about a scene Empire Day with Utlafay? Because Utlafay is back at the town technically, right? Like during this whole Empire Day kind of shenanigans.
We should talk to him before we do the Empire Day, and he starts wondering about
it. I mean, like a kind of overlap. I'm
not
off
out
on my
celebrating.
Like cross-cutting kind of deal.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Whereas, and I'm happy for like Payden's bit to be after the town bit. You know what I mean? Like, because I'm essentially just distracting them at this point. Like,
right. I mean, I just mostly want establishing shot of what does Smuggler Hideout look like per se, and that could be really interesting. But yeah.
Oh, I can tell you what Smuggler Hideout looks like right now.
Can you?
Yeah, Smuggler Hideout looks like you come into a ravine that then splits off into multiple like deeper crevasses within this sort of beautiful grasslands, like below this. If you're still at the top, you wouldn't even see it. But like once you go into these ravines, you can start to see how deep they go, and there are caverns, like holdouts, like hollow places within the walls. That
neat.
Yeah.
That was really cool. And I mean, do you think there's some kind of fixed structure in there? I would imagine there's, a place for them to hang their hats and so to speak.
Oh yeah, but I think that's like a like bridges across the ravine, like hanging down from it.
Nice.
And,
oh my goodness. Look at you, some Star Wars cool like looks. That's awesome. I like
there's
that.
There's definitely like a big sinkhole that leads into the cave system throughout there that you can bring in a ship from orbit, and like land inside and then slowly move it through the tunnels to come to the different caverns and stuff.
Oh my gosh. That's pretty great. That's pretty great. Yeah, so we have a bunch of awesome CGI physical overlay effects there going on as they come upon this, and yeah, this is, if they were legitimately here to stop smugglers, this would be the mother lode. All right, Crester's Hollow.
Well, I'm clearly looking through those Star Wars binoculars. Flag off in the
Yes.
distance as a ship leaves from that sinkhole, and I pass them over to. I don't think Chael. I think Gable, not Gable, but like a scout sergeant. Like in the full-on scout trooper armor.
Mhm.
I point out and I say, well, if I was going to hide, I'd be hiding out there.
Well, they're gonna hide for long.
The bravado suddenly switched on for the scout bike trooper, and so yeah, you hear their they report back, and the APC starts moving, trundling down, and they're going to be heading this way, having been told that this is where Utlafe is hiding out, and it definitely looks like a fortified place that could easily be a rebel hideout. What do you do, Baden? Do you just hang up? Because guess what? The captain doesn't go down there, right? I
Yeah.
think he's still in his little Imperial speeder. He'll be overseeing this.
I think I check my blaster. My heavy blaster, the old one that I took from the war. Like, I check it, and it's all in perfect condition. It's absolutely like just.
It's definitely not worn down from use.
No. And I look at it, and I pull out the power pack and put it back on my bike, and just settle back, pull out my pipe, and sit there next to the captain, like a weapon that I don't need to use. Like.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in the backstory, of course, of our of Wamprat, these smuggler gangs are like our closest thing to trouble. You know what I mean? Like, they roll into town sometimes. They're rowdy. They're ruthless. We've had killers and so forth. Yeah.
Very, very clever. I love it. So yeah, we've now put that ticking time bomb out there, and now we're gonna cut back to Chayla Plieg, who is going out to speak with Utlafe. Is that a Plieg scene?
Quick question.
Yeah.
How many of the Imperials were we able to draw off with this wild goose chase?
I think with a wild goose chase, you've drawn off 75% of them. I think I'd like to have a reappearance of the Death Trooper and maybe half squad of troopers.
Yeah, I think it makes sense for me to go talk to this guy, at least. Maybe not Chayla. I don't know. What do you think, Sabine? Does it make sense for her to be hanging out in the cantina, or?
Yeah, I think she's overseeing the whole Empire Day celebration thing, and you please make sure that the kid knows that he's got to go soonish, and that here is a speeder bike, and that he should treat the speeder bike well, because that's where my son learned to drive a speeder bike on. I feel nostalgic about it. Don't tell him that. Tell him to be safe.
So we're basically thinking, give him the speeder bike, point him in the right direction, and
don't see what else we can do.
May the force be with you. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I can't take on all of these by myself. Neither can you. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. I will go make him abreast of the plan, and
you step into the shed, and all of a sudden, Owie says,
"Oh my, I'm so glad that you're back, Mr. Flash. Where is Mr. Finn?"
He's otherwise disposed right now.
Oh no, he isn't dead, is he?
Probably not.
Oh, excellent.
It's real black or white for Owie, isn't it? How's the patient?
The patient is less than cooperative. They're eager to leave, even though they should not.
Well, we're also eager for them to leave. No offense, Oot. The less time you spend in Womprat, the safer it is for all the Wompers. And of
understand.
course, the faster you get those codes to your people.
Exactly. I hate that I've brought so much trouble to you. I honestly, I think of you as like family, and it means so much to me that you've not only given me a place to hide out, but helped me. And then he groans a little bit and he starts to stand up. I think I'll be all right.
I will reach out and help them stand to see how well they can. And kind of look at Owie to see if any alarm bells or klaxons start going off. I'm not sure how advanced a droid this is, but
Bothan is functional, perhaps 73%. I would recommend convalescence or rest for another 24 to 36 hours. Please do not lift anything larger than 20 pounds.
well, your uncle was like family to me, and I couldn't help him as much as I wanted to. So it's an honor to be able to help his nibbling in this, and hopefully make it so it's more difficult for the Empire to take over any other worlds.
And they kind of reach up and it's a Bothan gesture of like smoothing the side of what would be a furred side of the face. I say, I should leave. I should leave now, Mr. Flash. Please. Do you have any way for me to get these plans to the right people?
I will quickly summarize. We've got 2 ruses going on, and we've got a speeder bike. Please try to make sure it does not get crashed into a fiery wreck, for your safety and its own. And actually, I guess we didn't talk how this. Would I have brought the speeder bike, Chayla? Is that part of the idea that I've got it here already? Okay.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it makes sense that in between the whole, we are preparing for a celebration, you would take the speeder bike and go somewhere and come back. So speeder bike.
So I would like to chat with Owie a bit then and say, we've got Oot at 73%. What do I need to do to strap them onto this bike so that they won't fall off when it reaches its maximum speed? I would like to keep their insides in to the greatest extent possible. Give me that other 27% somehow.
This is a very interesting conundrum. Mr. Flash, perhaps I could aid Oot Lafette, and once Oot Lafette is delivered, I will bring the speeder bike back to Walprat.
I just see the little thumbnail of Will going like, don't let him do that. But to me, it sounds like a great plan.
Plucky little droid plans.
I mean, I at least like the part where there's more medical supervision. Like, I don't know how much Owie could do on its own, but there's something really appealing about trying to MacGyver this medical droid and speeder and Bothan all together and send it off into the setting sun. So yeah, let's make that happen.
Cool. So I'd like to have, like, I just want to see, is there trouble ahead? So let's do a simple uncertainty for you helping to get these 2 individuals loaded up onto Chayla's speeder bike so that they can get out of here.
I'm guessing that one will be skill.
I'll roll my 2d6. Here we go.
Which is gonna, oh God, 1d6?
Well, I rolled a pitiful 4, so you've got good chances.
I want to make sure that you are adding yours and it isn't just the highest. That's what I thought.
That's
before,
fair. Let's see.
I'd really like if that were
The higher sum. It says the higher sum.
But I don't get a sum. I only get one die ever, right?
Well, let's
The-
take a look.
The helping dice are only ever one die. Intriguing. All right. Well, I'm going to roll a 1d6 and we'll see what happens.
Well, I think you can do unspent heart dice in here, right? You can always roll that
Can
in.
I? Oh, I've lost where I'm supposed to be now.
Oh, I'll send you the roll for your party and link.
No,
There you go.
I just closed the document that I was.
Oh, it happens. It's no worries.
Okay, if a former player rolls. I feel like I just get the one die, but I'm not certain. So I will roll it and see what happens. 1d6. Please be kind. Hey, it's a 5. I'm real good at this.
Yeah, what's interesting is to resolve something uncertain, agree unanimously whether it's a test of luck or one of the character's qualities. If it's a former, meaning it's a test of luck, the player rolls 1d10 plus 2.
So luck is way better than.
Luck is way better than using skill. That seems wrong.
I think there's something. Yeah, not.
I feel like maybe you're supposed to add 2 qualities together and do the 2 helping dice for each of those sum totals.
Because then the sum would make a lot more sense. Yeah.
That's what I think we should be doing. So like if you had a quality of 46 and a quality of 46, you're rolling 2d6 to do a thing. Let's try that next time we do simple uncertainty. That said, you are successful. So I think we see a moment where you're MacGyvering on, and like maybe do you think you're like ratcheting on our medical droid onto the back, and it's holding LaFay's like upper chest because I think they got shot in the gut, if I remember correctly.
I believe so. Yeah.
And
Yeah, I
that's
think this
sutured
is
together.
definitely the problem-solving happy place for Pleerg. Like, if I do that, okay, and then there's a little depression here that Owie can sit right in, and then tighten this up. Oh yeah, it definitely does not look good though. It is a eyesore.
This looks excellent, Mr. Flash. Thank you for your help. I will return shortly with the speeder bike after having delivered successfully our rebel agent.
Perhaps step 1 is don't refer to Oot in that fashion.
Of course, Mr. Flash, an excellent suggestion.
I'm not a big fan of Owie bringing the speeder bike back, but I haven't got a different idea. I don't think there is. I think that's, yeah.
Make sure that you take care of Mr. Finn while I'm gone.
I will see to him as if you were doing it yourself, Owie.
When the speeder bike takes off, LaFay maybe tips a cap to you because it's all Western. So now he has a cap with a broad brim, and he takes off. They take off into the prairie. So yeah, let's jump to Chayla and the very small smattering of Imperials who are now enjoying your celebration of Imperial or Empire Day. And I think that if it were just a group of stormtroopers, you've done enough, especially with the help from the Gran, that it all works out. Except, so what does it look like with things kind of working out before the Death Trooper walks in? We'll say that Pleerg, maybe you show up at this point.
Okay, what it looks like is we've made some decorations. The Empire has this cock symbol, I think.
Mhm.
And so we've plastered that over stuff, and there are balloons where somebody with an artistic bent has painted these cocks on. And I don't know, everybody dresses up as the Emperor with a cowl. Probably not, but some people will. And we have, of course, a special cocktail mixed together, the Imperial Death Star, the Imperial Death Star. It has hard alcohol and lots of it.
Nice. So yeah, these troopers come back on a sweep of the town. They step in. There's a bunch of people who inform them it's Imperial Day. We'll say like all 5 of the troopers come in, and they kind of spread out, and some are sitting at tables. A couple are saddled up to the bar. They've pulled off their helmets, and they have them nearby, but they're definitely out of regulation, drinking a little bit. Pleerg, when you arrive on scene, what's your plan? Do you like sleep in on the back? Do you just come in the front like a regular customer? What do you do?
I'm thinking about the interaction I had with them before was a little antagonistic, I think. So like I might not want to make a show.
You're what they call mouthy, you know.
Yeah, that is a compliment where I'm from. Thank you. So I think I would go in the back and, I don't know, sort of be in reserve maybe. If the poodoo hits the ventilator, I can do something, but otherwise I won't stir the pot.
Nice. So you're in the back. Maybe Barua's there because Barua's a Wookiee slave race. No, you got Barua out front.
We
making him
got
do
mostly humans in here, or human
Okay.
adjacents, because the Empire doesn't like aliens. So
Mm-mm.
I don't want to provoke anything here.
I'm
right?
definitely hanging out with Baru.
So
Yeah, I was thinking Barua's in the
yeah.
back.
Yeah,
like
Baru's
he's
good times.
That's
he's just
cool.
shining
Yeah.
up some stuff,
Yes.
and yeah, he's trying to stay out of the way.
I'm testing out his new cocktail recipes.
Oh yeah, yeah, he's cool.
Yeah.
He's got like a little data pad there. He's pointing.
Horrible.
Refrain from trying
Or
out
another
the
one.
refrain from trying the Imperial Death Star. It's meant to knock people out.
Yeah, the Death Star's supposed to knock people off. Yeah, when you get to the drink he calls the bantha fart, that one's like a licorice flavored liqueur with hot sauce. It's really rank. It's not great, but it will.
Chayla likes it.
Yeah, every species has different taste buds, you know.
Yeah, I think there's a chuckle and the Wookiee says something, and yeah, this is one of Chayla's favorite drinks. No one will buy it. And then he points up to like a rack of a bunch of licorice, like licorice drinks.
We bought a case.
We bought a case. Got a good deal, but still, that was 8 years ago. So Chayla, you've gotten a couple of these stormtroopers to where they're telling you some story, and the story, like as we cut in the middle of it, it's obvious that these guys do not mind their work, and they're talking about in slightly vague terms that you think that they have kind of quelled rebellions in areas that may or may not have had rebellion. And they're kind of bragging to each other a little bit. I don't know. Have you ever seen the movie Full Metal Jacket?
I think that's the one with the Sarge with the "this is your rifle" thingy.
Yeah. There's a
Yeah.
moment on Full Metal Jacket when Private Joker, Matthew Modine, his character, who's a reporter, is on a chopper, and they have a guy who's got a machine gun, like a big heavy machine gun, and he's screaming out, get some, and just firing randomly at people on the ground who are not combatants. And Private Joker says, aren't those women and children? How can you shoot women and children? And the guy looks at him and in complete seriousness says, it's easy, you just don't lead them as much. That's the general gist of these stormtroopers talking to each other loudly in front of you. But they're getting progressively more drunk, thinking, hey, this is a one-horse town. We could do whatever we want to these people, but they're getting drunk and not doing whatever they want to these people. They don't openly say that, but that's the general opinion, is you guys are beneath them. And if need be, tomorrow they'll show up and just shoot everyone. That said, you're getting them drunk, and things are going well when the door opens and that death trooper, 10 Ibris, comes in. stands near the door, looks around, and then steps down a couple of steps to come into the mind trick.
I will greet him cheerfully. Officer,
What exactly is going on here?
we are celebrating Empire Day.
Empire
Because,
Day doesn't occur for 3 standard months.
well, for us it's Empire Day today because your lovely folks are here. I mean, we never get to celebrate Empire Day and see stormtroopers. That's so that. Huh?
You.
Yeah.
Come with me.
Oh, sir. Huh. That is forward of you. I'm the bartender. I have to stay. But you can come and have a drink or two. And maybe if we get to know each other
You
a
will
little bit.
walk outside to talk with me, or I will drag you outside to talk with me. Which would you prefer?
Oh, I like a man who knows how to get a little bit physical. And I'll step around the bar.
And this death trooper will turn his back on you and stride out. As he's doing so, he looks across and says,
The 5 of you are going on notice. Dereliction of duty.
and all but the 2 at the bar seem to straighten up a little bit at that. Yeah, that's right. Can't show them what you don't have.
Yeah, can.
We cut to a certain Soren dog going, I feel my mother through this lightsaber.
Yeah, I'll wink at the boys at the bar, like, yeah, he's just talking. And I'll draw in, what was his name, the clone guy, that he should take over the bar and talk to these guys.
Yeah, showing Harand, he's a clone, so he's probably been trained for this. He just kind of gives a subtle nod and then he'll move around. So when you step outside, the first thing that happens is Tenebris grabs you by the arm and shoves you against the wall.
Can I just say, when I saw them going outside, I said, Baru, watch the troopers in here,
100%.
and snuck outside to watch whatever's happening. Yeah.
Absolutely. You've got viewpoint of what's going on.
I will accept that for a moment and say, hey, there's no need to get this rough. What do you want?
We are searching for a rebel agent.
Well,
This is highly suspicious.
It's suspicious that somebody likes the Empire. Sir, we are plagued by smugglers and thieves and thugs. We are happy that you are here to bring order to us. Isn't that what you're there for?
I think that is a great, we've definitely jumped into a conflict here. Are you going to convince him? I think you're being deceitful, right? I think you've got good arguments, but I think for Chayla, this is deceit.
I'm not honest. I'm not honest here.
Okay, cool. So
Totally not. I don't like the Empire. Just not really.
So I think that this is a shock soldier. It seems like. Wait, it would be a shock soldier or Imperial Ranger. What do you think, Will? Since you are, by being an ex-ranger, are my expert.
What was the question?
Do you think that this death trooper should I be using on page 10 of the PDF are Imperial Ranger stats or the shock soldier stats?
I think that Death Trooper is more like a shock soldier.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Although the Imperial Ranger appears to be better at stealth and deceit and better at fighting. 2d8, 1d10. I'm going with shock soldier. All right. So stealth and deceit, 3d6. Yes?
Ranger is better at fighting than a shock trooper?
Well, it's according to whether you think 2d8 is better than 1d10. I think 2d8 is probably overall better than 1d10.
On average, right? Like you can get
Yeah.
16 versus 10.
Mhm.
I think that I'm already displaying. Wait, no. We start off with qualities, or can I
Mhm.
bring in authoritarian cruelty now or later? I think it's
Just
later.
quality. But first, you need your stakes.
Yes, the stakes are okay. He wants you to tell him what's really going on. That's
Huh.
what he wants. He
I
wants
know
to know
that's-
what this is covering.
I think the stakes are if I actually lose patience and all the deception goes to hell and I start a full out attack and riot happens. That would be the stakes, because I'm not going to tell him, hey,
seems-
actually we hide a rebel. That I don't
So
see
then the
that
stakes
happening.
is, does he push you so hard that you
Yeah.
give up the guys and go straight to like fighting 6 stormtroopers? That sounds like a really good stakes that I'm into.
Yeah, I mean, I would, but I can't see Chayla losing this. And then we go to the follow-up conflict, right? That would be fighting. Okay, but let me try with patience and will, which is 66, and I think I can draw in at heart my fellow exiles and my exiled veterans, actually, because they are all in danger, because they're all in this town, right?
Yeah, bring in that D4, definitely.
It's not a D4. It's my free. It's my heart things. That's
I thought you were
that's the
bringing.
D8.
Sorry, I thought you were putting in the I care about them D4, which you just recently got.
No, that's the quality. That's a trait, and I can't use trait
Yep,
yet.
okay.
Traits yet.
So that's really weird. So it seems like just in talking, Keith, am I only bringing in 3d6?
I was trying to figure out what it means. It's got baseline conflict dice and then talking. So I feel like you roll baseline plus talking.
It seems like a fair thing, because
otherwise I
otherwise you're going to get burned out every time, and it doesn't seem like much of a conflict. Okay, so I've run that. It's basically 5d6. It's still a little bit lower on a dice pool for just talking, but hey, that's not really their thing. Or stealth and deceit.
Okay, so I get to roll my dice. Come on. Yay, wow. Okay.
Holy crap.
Okay. That
You're
yeah.
definitely going to be keeping your cool. That is some mighty fine die rolling there. All right.
So I will push out. Let me. Oh wait, I can start with 14, which would leave him with 1 die, which he can't pull forward. Then he have to escalate, right?
Yeah, you can force him to escalate right here and now.
Do I want him to ask? Because escalation would mean fighting, right?
He doesn't have many options, so yeah, he's probably going to go to like.
Okay, I think I.
Are you screen sharing, Rich? Because I'm not seeing.
I am not. I will do so right this minute. Thank you for asking. Sorry.
I wonder if it would be a better tactic to go with a 12 and force him to. I mean, he can still escalate, but that means that I can.
You can save that 8 to turn the blow, which could be really, really devastating.
Yeah, I think I will do that because it's seems like a better tactic. I'm experimenting.
Yeah, no, that's good. It's a 2-shot for us to kind of learn the system. So he has to kind of meet it. I can't even meet it on multiple dice to try to save something back. So what is it that you say that he can't ignore? That he then is going to try to block.
Yeah, I'm saying that precisely, that they aren't they here to bring order? Isn't that what they are supposed to do instead of just pushing people around? Because we're not rebels, we're just ordinary folks. We look up to the Empire.
You aren't even part of the Empire here. We left this planet decades ago. And if you're looking for our assistance, you're not going to get it.
And then I think knowing he's only got so many dice, he's got to escalate. And so he kind of grabs you by the throat.
Oh,
And
wow.
now he's moving to fighting and authoritarian cruelty. So
Mhm.
he gets to bring in a lot more dice. He
Mhm.
feels a little more comfortable now. Just so we know, if you're worried about his comfort.
I'm not.
Oh, okay. Well. Oh my God, these dice suck.
Haha.
Oh man, this is
Maybe
not
he
gonna
has a
go
little
well.
heart. Maybe he has a little heart behind all of that.
I
Maybe he
mean,
really believed in the Empire at one point.
maybe these kind of dice. He's definitely not that great at his job. So I don't think I'm putting forth a thing that you can turn the blow, because I'm gonna go forward with the hardest thing I have. So yeah, he does the thing where he grabs you by the throat and he
Mhm.
pushes you again.
Where is the rebel? Where are the plans?
So I can block now, right?
You can, absolutely.
And then I can escalate
Yes.
myself, or I can bring in more dice at least.
Right. You block and then you can bring in more dice. You can
Uh-huh.
also, because he's escalated to fighting, you can bring in whatever dice fighting would comprise of.
Yeah,
So
but the conflict is still about whether he breaks me and I start fighting.
it
So
is exactly that. So you're going to be rolling skill dice once you respond.
Yeah.
But yeah, you get a block here.
okay, cool. I'm going to block him.
I've got 9 forward, so
Yeah, I've got 10. So there you
all
go.
right. Cool. What does that look like?
What does that look like? I think I will. I feel that there is not a lot of force. He could have hit harder, I think. Maybe he's
Yeah.
not that cruel. So I will look at him with teary eyes, and I would say, but I thought you were meant to bring order. I know we are not part of the Empire. We were just happy to see you. We had the hope that you would help. And are you really going to punish us for that? For just hoping that something could turn out right on this dusty canyon-filled place? Shithole is the right word. Shithole.
That's good.
Yeah.
I like it.
And let's see what I can pull into this. I don't think I want to bring the mind trick right now because nah.
Okay.
I don't think that works. But oh yeah, I know what I'll do. I will bring in my name
All right.
and my bar, because this is my place. This is my life. I've built this up, and even in this shithole. And yeah, and I feel so close to losing this. So I'm putting in my name and my bar, and I think that I feel responsible for those Whompers.
Yeah.
I'm putting that in too,
Now,
because
if your response, or if what you're putting forward has violence in it or is part of this fight, you can also bring in your skill dice, because fighting is skill plus will. So that's really up to you. If you
but I don't
pull
want to
that in.
fight.
Probably
Fighting
not.
is me losing. Fighting
Yeah.
is me losing. That's exactly what I want to avoid.
Tempting you. Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
I know.
Roll
Yeah,
those dice then.
I actually, Rich, I want to fight him. I want to use my force
know.
tricks, but right now, no. Damn it, no. I'm a fucking Jedi, and I'm not getting provoked by this punk.
Yeah, you
Those
are.
dice are looking real nice.
Dang, man.
Yeah.
I have to say
So,
that's the least Jedi thing I've ever heard anyone say.
Hashtag worst Jedi. Hashtag living Jedi.
It's very on brand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I am going to put forth how much does he have there?
Two dice.
No, he's got 12, and then he's got 16, and it's 18. So I cannot outflank him with these dice, but I can draw out a lot of it. I think I'll put forth the 7 and the 6, so it's 13 here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Dang, 13. All right, so there's 6, 9, 12, 13. 5 dice of fallout for him.
Mm-hmm.
All talking because you didn't hit him.
Yeah.
And
Indeed.
I think at this point, knowing what he has, seeing the resolve in you,
Mm-hmm.
I think he's gonna give. I think he's gonna realize that you're not gonna break and just tell him. So either you don't know, or he's gonna have to follow you or something. But this is a wasted effort. And so he gives. He lets go of your throat. He steps back, and there's a moment you feel through the force, Shayla. You feel his indecision, his hesitation.
I will push him a bit, like not with a mind trick, because that could go wrong pretty badly, but I will say, please, sir, join us just for this evening. Just to celebrate what the Empire means.
I'll leave the troopers there, but I have other work.
I shrug a little regretfully.
And this Death Trooper Tenebris will roll his, what do you eat? Like 5 dice, I think. Let's see how that goes. Oh, 2 4s. Yeah, you got some long-term fallout.
He started. He was at fight. We were fighting, right? So he doesn't roll d4s.
Oh, well,
he escalated to
fair.
fighting.
He escalated to fighting, so he's got to eat that. So then he's going to roll physical, not dangerous, right? Because you weren't fighting back. I think that's fair. So
Yeah,
the D6 is a fair point. Well, here we go. Let's see how this goes. Oh, snap. So you get experience fallout, but he rolls an 11, which is long-term fallout, not short-term, long-term fallout. And yeah, I think he's going to get a new trait at 1d4, troubled by his
troubled conscience.
Troubled conscience. I'm going to add that in. That's great. That's a good suggestion. So,
and I'm watching him walk away, and I say, mostly to myself, I sag a little because that was a lot, and I say, well, I can't believe Master Yoda was right. And I don't think anyone knows here that I used to be a Jedi. So, but Pleer heard that.
Pleer gets to hear a little, I guess Mr. Yoda was right. That's pretty awesome.
Would Yoda be a name that is well enough known that I'd be like, what?
I think so, right?
Oh, snap.
There's a reason he went to Dagobah. So no one would know him.
He led the warfare on Kashyyyk, right? Like major battleground in the Clone Wars.
Mm-hmm. There you
flipping
go.
around with his lightsaber.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Other than like reaction from Pleer, anything you guys want before we jump to another scene?
And I think it's just see him like whoever the weak way version of like whoosh, that looked like it was gonna go like he was reaching into his jacket and pulling out his blaster and just like
take an aim.
There's gonna be way like if I shoot it's gonna go way sideways, but like he's got Shayla up against the wall and she doesn't seem as alarmed as I felt like she should have been. Yeah, it worked out.
Nice. So I think there's a look between the two of you. Shayla, you realize that Pleer had snuck out and was trying to have your back, but you were able to withstand the onslaught of this Death Trooper. And as you guys head back to your ruse, we cut away to Peyton Finn. And I think, Peyton, we hear the remnants of blaster fire There's combat down in the canyon. It's been going on for a little while.
I imagine that at one point, like a rickety shuttle kind of like lifted off and tried to go, and then a speeder bike like slammed into the side of it, sending it spiraling down into the. And I'm just sat there on the ridge with this captain, like looking at this, all the old bloodshed carrying on in front of me.
Yeah. Just like old times, huh, Finn?
Too much like old times. Tell me, why'd you stay on? Clones ain't no clone army anymore. Just volunteers. I don't know.
Someone needs to keep them in line, show them how troopers really work. And I'm just not a quitter like you are, Finn.
See things through to the end, huh?
I do.
One way or another. You ever think that the separatists fought the Republic, and then the Empire took over the Republic, and now there's this rebellion, and it all just keeps on coming back around again and again and again, and there ain't no balance to the universe. Ain't no force. Ain't nothing.
Oh, there's balance. I have plenty of balance with my boot on the neck of insurgents.
Yeah. Well, you about done putting your weight on that boot?
Nearly. I have a suspicion, Finn.
Yeah? Well, spit it
I
out.
have a suspicion you're seeing the brutal efficiency of the Empire. Is there not just some small part of you that remembers what it was like to be part of a well-oiled machine? To have the respect or the fear of those you face?
And he looks down at his hands, like scarred and battled, and like you can see the calluses of the trigger finger and the dexterous, and maybe like blood stains and stuff that have just like never quite gone away. And he's just, all I see is the broken things I put back together, and the ones I didn't. He likes a cigarette, a death stick.
Captain Curious, we have combed over this entire installation, and while we found a number of illegal items, we are unable to find the rebel agent. I'm sorry, sir.
They let standards slip, huh?
Peyton, I could use a medic.
I'm afraid it's long past time for your wounds, sir. I did my best.
No, I mean for my unit, for my ship. It's nice to have something around to remind me of the old times.
And he looks and he traces over the hard lines of the cyborg modifications and the glint and the thing, and he just says, like, yeah, a reminder. Well, let me see your boys then.
So, kind of looking at time.
Mm-hmm.
I think we might be moving near.
I'm up for. Peyton's a broken soldier kind of thing. Like he'll treat Stormies, he'll treat anybody. But I would say in narrative terms, we need to sort of get to how we get Oot out of here.
I think we kind of sort of have gotten Oot out of here with the speeder bike and them taking off. We had a simple uncertainty to see if they were able to get on the speeder bike. I think you were successful in buying enough time for them to pull that off.
Yeah.
We need to get the stormtroopers to leave us alone and
call
off the chase or go somewhere else to chase things. I think that's the last one.
Yeah, so I'm happy to be at the whims of the stormtrooper, you know, like dealing with their unreasonable demands or whatever. Like,
yeah. So I think the next scene is that these stormtroopers eventually, the stormtroopers who were at the mine trick, eventually stumble out of there. They head back to the frigate. And the APC and the speeder bikes and the speeder and Payton all come back to the frigate as well. And
we exchange long looks over the horizon, you know, like as with the flat plains kind of thing, as they stand outside the mine trick, and you see Payton get off his mount and just like nod at Chayla and Clerk as they stand outside the mine trick.
Oh yeah, there we go. And then some, maybe like night comes, and in the morning, Pleerg, you hear the sound of Chayla's speeder bike. And when you come out.
Mission accomplished, Mr. Flash. I successfully delivered the rebel agent to the people at the refinery.
I'm beyond shocked. I'm so pleased that I'll forgive that you called him rebel agent. Again, that was rule 1 that you weren't going to do.
He leans forward and he says,
"Just between you and I, Mr. Flash, I didn't tell any of the stormtroopers I passed by anything at all about the rebel agent."
How many stormtroopers did you go past?
6. They thought it was very amusing that you bolted me into the speeder bike. I found it quite useful.
Well, let's get you back to Payton and get a full memory wipe.
What?
Sorry, what? No.
Oh,
fine.
I thought you said memory wipe.
No, I said well done.
Oh, thank you very much, Mr. Flash.
All of the Wompers are quite proud of you. I will
Are
compose. They will be when they hear the ode I'm going to compose in your honor.
Oh, I've never had a poem written about me, Mr. Flash.
I find that easy to believe.
Well, I am very convincing.
so now that you have a speeder bike pilot / medical droid, where are you taking the speeder bike? Are you gonna take it back to Chayla?
Are all the Imperials at the frigate now, or are they still...
Yeah, the drunk troopers went back to the frigate. They probably told a number of the other troopers. Payton, when you overheard Captain Carius being told by the troopers that the folks at Womprat had declared Empire Day, do you try to nudge him towards, don't send any more troopers that way? Or how do you handle that?
I think after patching them all, like patching like a couple of his men up and being like, the war's got to end sometime, that this isn't wherever this rebel was, wherever he's gone, he's not here. It's not. This isn't a, I came here to get away from the war, and can't you just go? Like, haven't I given enough? Haven't I helped? Haven't I tried? Like, haven't enough people died already?
Nice. And as you're kind of reasoning again with the captain about this, he receives a report from the Death Trooper. The Death Trooper arrives and says,
Captain, we received a transmission from this TIE fighters in orbit that a ship has left the refinery.
have them give chase and call in the information. It seems that perhaps they've given us the slip, but we will catch them.
The war never ends, does it?
No. The war is never ending. It rolls from one war to another. The choice is only to fight or to die.
Sounds like that balance you were talking about.
Peyton Finn, I'd like you to attend me. You remind me of the old days when troopers could shoot straight.
I don't shoot no more.
That's fine. You'll be an advisor, a civilian. You'll be mine.
And if I say no?
And I think we go to a little simple uncertainty here before we go into a full-on conflict. Does that seem fair?
Yeah.
All right.
I am totally willing for Peyton to have to go back to get them to leave this town alone.
That may be the thing you got. So I think we're going to go simple uncertainty. So I'll roll my 2d6. And we'll do the version that we talked about just a minute ago, where you look at two different qualities you're bringing in. This is talking. You're not lying. So look at your helping dice for your patience plus perspective.
Helping dice.
Yeah. So the helping dice is not on the character sheet, unfortunately, but your patience is 4d6. The helping dice for that quality would be 1d6. And then perspective is 3d6. That is also 1d6. So you're rolling 2d6 against 2d6.
Okay.
And just so we're clear on the stakes, if he wins, he's basically saying, you come with me, we leave this place in the dust, we go off fighting, and you don't come back.
Yeah, he reactivates my commission, basically.
Yeah,
like,
basically.
Forces me back into the Imperial forces. Is there anything I can do to raise that, like to put more dice in, or it's fine if there's not? I just want to make sure.
I mean, I think anytime you can use unspent heart dice, right?
I think for simple uncertainty, it's just this, but it sounds like you're saying that it might be a conflict rather than simple uncertainty.
No, let's just do simple and safe. For time's sake, it's fine.
Okay.
But
And I think if you don't like that, you can then continue on.
Okay, sure. I mean,
Yeah.
as a player, I'm happy either way. Frankly, like it was never going to go well for Peyton. Let's be honest. Oof, definitely not going to go well for Peyton with a 3.
Yeah, so that's the choice. What is it that we see? What's our epilogue for Peyton Finn?
Let me say goodbye to my droid. And handing the papers for Owie over to Plague, I think.
What did I ever do to you?
Look after them, Plague. And then I think as he goes over to Chayla, You know, like as he's saying his goodbyes as we leave the town.
I think
Don't
so.
do that. Don't do that. And she
General.
hugs him.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah.
It was a pleasure serving you, Master. I will do my very best to make Mr. Flash as proud as I've made you. He's writing a poem about me.
Can't wait to hear it, Howie.
I'm
Let's see.
sure it will be famous.
The
We're gonna have
restraining-
to. We're gonna have to rename the town after that Lurdo, aren't we?
There is a note. The restraining bolt is.
Sweet.
But yeah, and I think, you know, like you see Peyton shaved, clean, like, you know, in an Imperial officer's uniform. Yeah. As the starship, you know, the shuttle pulls away from the Earth.
Yeah. That's it. So what is the epilogue we see for Plearg Flash?
I feel like, in general, his routine is not changed that much, but like, I don't know how the camera would show this. There's like a lightness to his step, in that he's kind of like, you know, I may have made this mistake and that mistake and that mistake and that mistake, but I did something that annoyed the Empire, and that ain't nothing. And I think there's scenes of him running his poetry by Owie, and just oh yes, sir, that is even more excellent than the last.
Your rhyme and pattern is excellent, sir.
Mid-tier for sure now. And of course, one of them actually is about Peyton.
Nice. Yeah, I dig that. And then what about Chayla? What is our little epilogue for Chayla?
I think she's pretty pensive for the next few days. People will say she's even irascible a little. And one evening she will record a message, leave it somewhere where her son. So she says, Soren, if you ever see this, if you ever hear my messages, I don't know. If you ever meet Peyton Fenn, you remember Peyton, right? He cured you. He took out your, I don't know what these things in your throat are called in English. I'm sorry, that the ones that you take out.
Tonsils?
Yes,
Tonsils.
exactly. He took out your tonsils when they were infected. The Empire took him. So if you can't do anything about that, you've got the lightsaber now. You're the idealist. Go find him. Get him away from them. Bring him back if you can. Yeah, and I, you know what, love you and all of that. But bring him back if you can.
Oof, that is good. I like the Soren doll message. And with that, we will bring our series to a close. Our two-shot Soren doll, the son of Chayla doll, will eventually get that message, and who knows? Maybe we see Peyton Finn showing up in the middle of some Imperial conflict. Who knows? But yeah, this is a good little story. And there's no like post-game anything. The game just kind of closes, which is interesting. And I'm not used to it. Cool. So let's spend the last minute or so here. We'll end up getting out probably a little bit early, but I'd love to do just a quick bit of Stars and Wishes second session. We got to see several conflicts, some simple conflicts. You know, how do things feel getting a little deeper into the system and seeing it run around. So Will, you're the one who was had the most challenge with this. How did things feel after the second session for you?
You know, like playing it does work the way I imagined it to. So I guess I do get the rules, just so much as like I'm second guessing myself constantly. Am I missing something? You know? And but it was cool. I like the mechanics. It's a bit time consuming maybe in terms of like the roll of the dice becomes a no matter what, like a good long involvement thing. But I do like the involvement. You know, like I do like that escalating and that transition from scene to scene. It's cool. Should I do overall stars as well?
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, one of my favorite things of like both this was the Owie poem. I will write a poem about you. That was brilliant.
That was really, really good.
I wasn't going to do it, but then you left him with me. Like,
Yes.
now I have to. I live with the guy.
He's yours now. Yeah, I love that. And I loved the idea of like your Soren, who's a character from one of the series of Star Wars, right? Like, and I love the idea of there being that crossover with Payden Fenn now. And I love the prospect of maybe playing Payden Fenn, you know, rebel traitor to the Empire sooner or later. Add to the other crossover characters in the Star Wars Sundays universe. And yeah, I love the idea of you know, like the consequence. Like for me going into this, I always felt like there wasn't really going to be a happy ending. You know what I mean? Like feels like a True Grit, Unforgiven kind of setting rather than a like, well, all good westerns end in tragedy, right? Like one way or the other. So yeah, I was fully expecting there had to be some sort of sadness rather than we just win the day entirely, and that was great. So those are my stars.
Good, thank you. Sabine, wishes and then stars, and just your general opinion of Before the Rebellion.
Yeah, I felt that we got the system a little more this time. With the escalation dice, it worked a lot better after we all got our heads in that space where we need to be to use that. I also like the simple uncertainty, although I would like it if you could bring stuff into that. Like maybe not everything, but maybe one trait and one belonging or something, like limit what people can bring in, but let people bring in stuff. That might make it easier to handle this. Maybe the GM can bring in some stuff as well, because sometimes things aren't just simple. Well, it's a simple uncertainty, but still. And as to the characters, I mean, I love poor Payden and the whole tragic. Yeah, I fought a war, and I've been there, and I don't want to go back, but to keep the Wamper safe, okay, I will. Damn. And Plirk and Aoi that was just a delight. That was just the total counterpoint to this whole heavy, tragic old warriors talking about philosophical stuff, and then on the other side we had Plirk and that young Bothan and that delightful droid. It was exactly what we needed. And yeah, I actually like the way my dice worked, because I mean, yeah, that apparently, and I like the way that I liked what the dice did to this death trooper. That was fun, even though it was totally random. It was fun to have there's still good in him. Damn. And yeah. I love the way you play with the voice modifier. That still always tickles me, bitch. That's
me
so
too.
great.
I'm glad it hasn't gotten annoying, because I was like, this is the most voice mod work I've done in a game, and I don't want to hit that point where people are annoyed at me.
At one point, you had two NPCs with different voice mods talking to each other.
Yeah.
I was like, how do I feel about that? Actually, it works well to indicate, oh, this is the Death Trooper talking to one of the lower guys who I didn't even realize had different voice mods, but it worked as a good signal for it.
Good. That's great. Thank you. Good. Awesome. Do we do? Yeah, you could. Anything else, Sabine? Okay. You're talking on mute. Okay.
Yeah, I know, but I was also shaking my head, so I think that might have gotten the message across.
Might have.
Finished.
Keith, bring it home. What were your thoughts?
I loved the story that we told. It was tonally what I expected. Um, and it's one of those things where I wonder, is it just good players? Is it the system plus good players? I'm really not sure. And the thing that surprised me, I've played Dogs in the Vineyard. Um, not a lot, but I have played it several times. And I felt like this was harder to navigate, which is strange because it's, I don't know, like 85% the same mechanically. Um, I've only played Dogs in person and this online, so I don't know if that accounts for some of it. But
Probably.
it was harder for me to wrap my head around it.
Are you not in Dogs though? Like you're the hero. You know what I mean? You're the heroes in Dogs, right? You're sent to go to places from the church, if I understand correctly. Like you're
Yep.
kind of like interlopers, whereas here we are the status quo.
And we
Mhm.
were
You know what I mean? Like
we're defending, and
yeah.
the dogs in the vineyard, they are attacking mostly. That's what they come in, and then they start action, and we were having action started on us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So
it's sort of the flip side of the spectrum. But like mechanically, I mean, it's mostly the same.
Mhm.
And I felt like I was kind of, boy, these mechanics are complicated. Why are they so complicated? Well, it's the same thing. And they did what they were supposed to. Like the conflicts that played out, I was like, oh, beautiful. Oh, and then Shayla said, and he came back with this, but then no, it still didn't work. So I was happy with what it did, but it was just kind of like, it felt like I was wading through it. And
I
having
think it's
trouble
maybe
navigating.
because we've played systems since that handle this kind of stuff more elegantly. Because it was always, I say this, and then I roll the dice, and then we see, and then we discuss the mechanics, and then we role play again, and then we go back to the mechanics again. And that back and forth, I mean, in other games, you just roll the dice, interpret the result. It's pretty much clear. In PBTA games, it's clear what it means. And it's not like, oh, and now I'm bringing in this and that. And, well, I don't know.
Yeah, there's definitely the technology to resolve things quicker. And the fun thing about this is that it does draw it out, like that back and forth. And we saw the beautiful moment of, wow, maybe this Death Trooper isn't who we thought or who he thought he was. Even.
Exactly. I don't
Whereas
think
if it
he
had
thought
been
that
like,
coming in.
if it had been a simple roll and Sabine rolled and said, okay, you won this, what does that look like? I don't think we would have ever come up with that. So it is neat what it does. It's just like, it feels clunkier than I remember it having felt. I don't know how long ago it was I last played Dogs.
I do think it's a defensive thing though, you know, like because if you were, you know, like the violence and stuff, you know, like the attacking and the because we were always trying to play things down and find which is the thing that you would probably do in Dogs every now and again, but like because we'd be the stormtrooper, you know what I mean? We'd be the stormtroopers coming into the town to find out the rebels in Dogs, or we'd be actively like rebels trying to get them out or whatever, right? Rather than we can't go loud, it can't go big, it can't go whatever, right? So, and probably also me just being like, how does this work every 5 seconds? Because it took me a long time.
That is interesting in that Dogs, the real pleasant frisson was always like, am I invested in this enough that I'm going to pull out my gun knowing all the awful narrative and mechanical things that are going to happen? Whereas here it was like, no, the point is we don't want to pull out our blasters. Like, if we have, we've kind of already failed because they will destroy us.
Yeah, that was, I would have liked to have seen just a straight up fight in the system, see how it goes. And I wasn't sure how to angle around to that within the story we were telling. So
yeah, I think like you have to go like criminal maybe in like 2 sessions, you know, because with the Empire it's like you've gone to the top, right? But with like some Untergunter Rhodians landing on this planet and kicking off, right? Like it could be who shot first.
Yeah, it could easily have been a different situation we chose where the smugglers are coming into town and then there's a big fight that happens. I think it would have been a less satisfying story than the one we told, but mechanically I would have liked to have seen how this thing goes when you want to escalate all the way through.
I like how this was a different perspective on a very typical Star Wars story. you know, like
Yeah.
the secret rebel trying to get away with the last hope of the rebellion kind of thing, and like, please go somewhere else and take this away from us. Kind of thing.
But you guys went to the wall for him, though. It's not like
Exactly.
you just turned him away. You did a really smart action. You covered for him. You got him away. You gave up stuff. But you're right. It was totally very, very motivated from a different place, and that was really cool.
My only wish for this would be like more time. Like I do feel like it's maybe 3 sessions, I guess. Like could be a full-on sort of one thing, and then you know, like we could have done the getting away and then like a dramatic escalation kind of thing, like the Imperial unit goes rogue or whatever, right? Like, but maybe that's just because by the second session I'd had that first kind of looking at the rules and being, I do not understand this at all, and then the second one being like, okay, I get this, like, you know.
Yeah.
But it definitely feels like a game where not a campaign game, but not a one shot either. Like,
yeah, I think it's just a similar space to Apocalypse World, like a mini series, like 6 to 10 sessions, and then out. But I was afraid that like I would do a terrible job, so I thought 2.
I think it worked well with 2 because we had a situation, and then we dealt with it. And okay, I understand that it was frustrating if from a playtest perspective that we didn't escalate all up to blaster fight, but from a story point, it was very satisfying that we had this arc and then it was finished. And I don't think with these characters we should have, if we had one more session, I don't know, would have felt even drawn out, because this was to the point. It was a movie, it wasn't a series.
Yeah, I get you.
Actually, I was thinking that this morning when I was looking forward to playing this. Is I feel like it is a movie and not a TV series, and I'm not sure. I mean, obviously, we had in our heads where it was going to end. If there's another session, maybe we would have slow played this, seen more character moments. But like, Peyton has now gone off. What would be our next session? I mean, I guess you wouldn't do that if we were going to have another adventure. But what even would it be? Because we are like the townsfolk saying, I hope nothing bad happens. We're not the heroes and like, I'm picturing Firefly. We're not going to go to another system and find out what's happening there. Like, I really hope that the melon crop comes in good this year.
The vapor farm's going to pay out real big this time of the year. Yeah.
That's true. That's a true point. Yeah. I mean, I think if we knew that there was a future situation coming, we might have found a different exit ramp for Peyton Fan. There was a part of me that was secretly hoping that you'd throw down and shoot. I mean, it would be a stupid, terrible idea, but also very Western for you to just, you know.
There was a part of me that thought about it, and then I was like, it just doesn't, you know what I mean? It just doesn't fit.
It doesn't.
Anything else.
I still want to
Especially
see the
'cause
bang bang.
Peyton's whole thing was like, I'm not going to kill anymore, and I will kill you to prove I'm not going to kill anymore. Like, yeah, it's...
You touch and I'm just, you're the worst. You're the worst.
If he'd made me fire upon like a wounded smuggler or something, maybe I would have had to kill him now.
Oh, that would have been hot. Damn it.
Yeah.
Can we like go back in time and I do that terrible?
But I feel like we really built out like a tiny little corner of like the Star Wars Saturdays universe here. You know, I mean, every Star Wars SWS game is one of those, but like this is a quiet little corner of it. You know, could easily be the back setting of any of the other games.
Yeah, this was good. I'll let you guys go. Thank you all so much for giving this a shot. I had a wonderful time playing with 3 of you. You're all wonderful as players and perceptive, and you made some incredibly compelling stories here. So thank you all so much, and we'll stop.
Thank you for running
here.
Thanks for going out on a limb and running the very incomplete document for us and making it work.
Well, knowing that you were here, Keith, it really made things a lot more comfortable because I was like, oh, somebody else who's played dogs. Yay. All right.